This is Bill Kimler, co-host of the Black, White, and Blue in the South podcast. This Halloween, stand out from the crowd with ZJZDesigns.com. Their brand new limited edition spooky prints are here to haunt your wardrobe in the best way possible. With 5 new chilling designs, you'll be ready for trick-or-treating, haunted houses, and everything this spooky season has to offer. Whether you're getting festive for the holidays or just looking for unique, high-quality designs to up your style game, ZJZDesigns.com has you covered. Shop now at ZJZDesigns.com and discover the t-shirts that'll make you stand out in any season. Don't get caught without the coolest Halloween t-shirt. Grab yours before they disappear. ZJZDesigns.com.
All right. Good Friday morning, everyone. The All About Nothing podcast kind of daily show. I am Barrett Gruber, joined by Mr. Bill Kimler. He is the host of Black, White, and Blue in the South. Good morning, Bill.
Hello, Barrett.
You know, there were a time where all we had was phones. And we couldn't. Yeah.
The podcasts really sucked back then.
Oh, that's hurtful. I used to do podcasts when there was just phones.
Yeah, they sucked.
So, I feel like I want to go ahead and just jump straight into it. And first thing I want to say is that in no way, shape, or form would I ever advocate for violence of any sort, politically, opinions, whatever. I think that that it's appalling, and I think that the fact that we had yet another incident, another tragedy in the United States is one that I don't understand why we keep going back to this. I don't understand why this seems to be the path that we find, because I'd like to think that there are people out there that have the self-awareness to understand that something so final isn't to act on something like this is just appalling. I say all of that to also say, and I'll let Bill give his opinion on this. Charlie Kirk was a vile human being. He was an entertainer at best. These are my opinions. He was someone that he was the raw meat that was thrown into a pack of rabid people, and all he did was incite hate and misogyny and racism. And I know that there are people that are going to say that, you know, he was such a good spokesman for the right wing and the movement and all those things, but one of his biggest things was to stand in front of a crowd and have children, basically, not learned adults, but basically children, ask him questions, which he didn't debate with them. He would just simply respond with questions to throw back at them. He wasn't a good debater, in my opinion. But I say all that to say he didn't deserve to die. He didn't deserve to have his life ended. His family certainly didn't deserve to have him taken away from them. And, I went back and forth. I am disgusted by some of the vile things that I see the Democratic side, the left-leaning liberal side, people that I know that are saying some pretty awful things about their opinion on what happened. And I won't go into it because it's not my place to shame people. I don't think I've been given that authority. But every instance of this is doing nothing but harming and creating more of a divide. So, Bill, I ate up the first 5 minutes.
Oh, hello. I'm not talking about it.
You're not going to talk about it?
No.
Okay.
No. We're in a situation right now where people are losing their jobs. left and right for
Yeah.
posting their opinions in the throes of an emotional event. We've seen teachers losing their jobs. A new comic book artist for Marvel just lost her job because of a post she made. Apparently, you cross the line, you lose your job. And you say things about George Floyd. No problem. We saw all sorts of heinous things about George Floyd and how he deserved what he got, et cetera, et cetera. And no jobs were lost there. But this is a subject that you're not allowed to really talk about, honestly. You've got somebody like Nancy Mace, who's got the self-control of someone in the throes of crack addiction. She just comes right out and launches, you're all to blame, just vile attacks without even knowing any facts, because Nancy Mace, and pausing for reflection or displaying leadership, just not part of her character.
Yeah.
So, and then the other thing I think is, this is probably so over discussed right now. What is it that you or I could possibly say that I can't go see somebody else saying online right this second 100 times, right?
Yeah, 100%.
So I did not post a single thing about this event on any of the dozens, literally dozens of social media accounts I manage. Nothing, right? Nothing, because I'm not adding to the dialogue. I'm not having a spin. I'm not having an insight or a reaction. Keep that to myself. Keep that into a tight group chat. But yeah, I don't feel the need to expound on it. Now, if we wanted to talk about the manhunt for the killer, I'm fascinated by that.
So yeah, let's talk about that, because essentially what we know is that we don't know a lot. They apparently found a firearm in the woods. Seems convenient to me that this firearm was just left adjacent to the university in the woods. Doesn't that seems very odd. There are videos showing someone running across the roof, laying prone, and then after the shooting, exiting, like taking off across the roof. And then now we have pictures of someone who clearly understood the assignment when it came to hiding their face from cameras with a hat. Like,
oh, the hat, the glasses, and I'm thinking it looks like there's a lot of caked makeup. And maybe it was just the image quality, but the face looks like it's something painted over with cosmetics to either hide skin color or tone or complexion or facial features in general. I'm watching a lot of people speculating with some air of authority. I'm seeing former military experts and former crime scene investigators all opining on the publicly available information. And everything from, gosh, what did I see? That he may have escaped on a private plane that left the area for Arizona, went off radar, and then came back on radar heading back to Utah. So I saw that speculation. I saw somebody who was an expert in military communications with hand gestures. And they showed a table of various hand gestures used in sniper activity. And they zoomed in on some guy in a white hat down in the audience making hand gestures. Now, I'm sure if you zoomed on me, you'd see me touching my nose, my ear, my eyes, my hat 100 times, and maybe it looks like I'm controlling sniper attacks.
Especially during allergy season, because I understand exactly.
I've seen experts talk about. Now, I'll tell you this: I have not watched the video. I've not seen it. I was warned about it, so I don't need to see it. I'm not interested in watching snuff films. It's not something I need to have injected into my brain. But watching people talk about it, experts talk about the precision and the timing, and they say there was a level of expertise here that not many people in the country may have. Very, very small population may have. Anyhow, there's a lot of weirdness to this. There was a lot of weirdness to the Trump attempt back in Pennsylvania that I think are still unanswered to this day, because the shooter was taken out immediately. There's just weirdness here. And I don't know if the truth will ever be gotten, but there's a lot more truth to be had.
Yeah. Yeah. With the Trump attempt back in July of 2024.
Could it have been a radicalized liberal nut? Sure. Could it have been a Russian agent who knew precisely how to sow chaos in this country? Yes. Could have. Sure. Could it have been a right-wing agent attempting to do the same? I mean, we had Dylan Roof attempt a race war. He wanted to incite a race war here in South Carolina at the Emanuel 9, or the Mother Emanuel AME shooting. So you don't know just yet what the intentions are, what the motives are, what the plot was. And therefore, to jump out like a Nancy Mace, or there was another congressman who was out there screaming at Democrats saying you're to blame, to do that, I think shows a level of you're not fit for the job, right? That's what you're there in the highest offices of the land doing that. You are not fit for leadership. You do not show those characteristics.
This is I'm drawn back to the state senator that was killed in her foyer in Minnesota.
Yeah,
and her husband, and then another state senator who he and his wife were both shot in by the same individual. Now,
and there was a target list that he had in his possession. He was crossing names off. He was going door to door.
Yeah, I guess I'm. There's it's difficult to come up with words to try and assess exactly what the environment is. It is extremely divisive. I also did not post anything on any of my social media about the situation with Kirk. I did not express my opinion at the time of who he was, and if he knew who I was, which he never would have, he would have probably not had very fond things to say of me. I mean, I've seen how he speaks about people in his own party, so it's not like he would have been able to seen anything from my perspective or had a decent conversation with me. So there's no reason for me to think that he would have cared one way or another. But the comments and things that I did see from people that I know are left leaning, and the expression of sadness that they tried to express in their social media posts, only to then just be basically beaten to the ground from comments from people I went to high school with. To see that anger coming out at people that used to be, I mean, one section of post was almost entirely made up of people that I was in swim club with from the age of 4 until 12. And we were, we weren't the closest people, and we're not super close now, but we all went to high school together and elementary school, and to see just to see those relationships completely dissolve and break apart because one person tried to express their emotion and how sad they were for the family and the friends and the people connected to Charlie Kirk. And then to see, even in that attempt at showing compassion, non-compassion, just absolute hate and blame. And same thing Nancy Mace did. It's such a disgusting pattern. And it's and ultimately I wonder, is it just because there's so much anger that they can't, that they think they're seeing through the outcry of sadness, that they think that it's just some sort of veiled fake? Is that possible? I don't get it. There's so much. There does seem to be a lot of compassion for someone who didn't show almost anyone compassion, and to have so much anger towards those sentiments is so weird to me. It doesn't make any sense. I can't put my head on it, and I don't know. Matt Villardo reached out. He wanted to see if he could come on the show this morning, because of course he is the victim not once but twice of threats and
Well, I
potential
oppose that
action.
idea because you're going to turn this into the All About Something podcast if you bring him on.
That's true.
We're supposed to be all about nothing, and
That's
this is
true.
turning into a heavy episode. No, is he there now? Bring him in.
No. I didn't see his message until this morning. That yesterday was an exhaustive day of trying to reattach myself to reality.
If you don't pace yourself better, you're going to be in risk of suffering from a stroke.
Yes,
Segue.
that is true.
Segue. The segue.
Did we each share videos with each other of that?
I think we did at the same time on different accounts. I think. Well, I just saw your video last night, and I looked at the timestamp. I was like, I think we both hit send at the same time with the same info.
I had the 9/11 thing on, and so I was watching it on ABC, and when they did a close up of Trump, there's that every office I've ever worked in, there was always that "be fast" sign, that said, that went through the symptoms of a stroke. And when they had the camera on Trump, I was like, his face is lopsided. Yeah. Like the right side of his face is definitely drooping down, as though he has lost muscle control as the result of not having oxygen to the brain, which potentially could have been a stroke. And I've not heard anything else about it except for what I've seen on social media. And it's a lot.
There's a lot. Yeah. And then there was the speech that Trump gave about the Charlie Kirk shooting. And there's claims that was an AI generated speech where they point to evidence of a pinky finger that suddenly disappeared in the middle of a frame and then reappeared. Have you seen that?
I did.
Yeah. But then I saw another guy, reach out. Somebody from NBC News had reached out to digital forensic experts for their opinion on that video. And while they also observed the little bit of weirdness with the pinky, they said they didn't see any of the telltale signs of AI generation. They said it was likely that maybe it was a spliced together video. Because Trump, he's not Mr. One Take, perfection. So they may have had like a 10-hour session with him to stitch together 30 seconds. You don't know. But it may have just been a badly edited video, kind of like the Epstein prison tape, having to be stitched together.
Damn.
So who knows? And I already know that I'm no good at spotting AI because I failed that other test.
Same.
Yeah. But I thought that added weirdness to something that was already weird.
But you're correct. If you rewatch the video, and of course, if you watch it enough times, you're going to start to spot things that you think are potentially not normal. But he sitting behind the desk, it definitely gives a feel like there was some sort of a filter applied to it. Maybe that it doesn't seem right. And I don't know. The video, the live video from the news agencies yesterday at the 9/11 was, I think, the best representation of what we've seen Trump in the last few months, which is he doesn't look well.
I mean, doesn't it explain the one full week of disappearance that was very much out of character, right?
It definitely gives credence to it. I mean, he looks as though he is unwell. And I'm saying that wishing.
But at the same time, hasn't he had conducted live press conferences and didn't have that face droop? I mean, what did the stroke just happen 2 days ago? Right? Was it a recent thing?
I think it's entirely possible he was actively having a stroke. I think.
So again, I'm not a medical expert, but you're saying strokes could be a lengthy, continuous thing? And I thought it was like a sudden bam, you had your stroke. And
I have only ever had experience with one person having a stroke, and that was from a distance. And the incident was the situation was only ever described to me. And essentially, back in 2005. A friend of mine, his sister had a stroke. She was brain dead the next morning, but she didn't. Her family, and she was 32 years old. She was a physical fitness trainer, and ultimately it was a blood clot. But the symptoms her husband didn't recognize. She has 2 small children at the time. Didn't recognize any of the symptoms. She was just very tired. She basically it ended with her going up saying that she was going to go upstairs and go to bed and lay down. She didn't feel well.
Well, that's me morning, every day around 2:00.
Well, yeah, but she went upstairs, and the next morning her husband couldn't wake her. That she was alive, but it was she was brain dead, and she was pronounced later that day. And so that's my only experience. But I've seen videos of people that have had strokes, where, like in the office. That's one of the things. The face.
I've seen that plenty of times.
And and I've had friends that have had strokes that didn't get the proper physical therapy treatment to help with what happened after the stroke.
Like if he had his stroke during his absence, don't you think that would have been seen before the 9/11 footage, right?
Yeah.
Like there's no denying what you saw there. But I would have thought that would have been noticed prior to that.
I would have too.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. I don't think it's stroke is a blood situation. That's as much as I know. It's a cardiovascular blood situation, but I believe that stress can also bring on certain aspects of a stroke. And again, we're saying this completely not in any way, shape, or form having any medical knowledge except for Google. But it is, I do believe that there is stress, and it's entirely possible. I think Donald Trump was a fan of Charlie Kirk, and Charlie Kirk, I think that probably added to it. It's everything.
You're thinking he had the stroke after the shooting?
I think that it was recent.
Oh.
If he had a stroke at all, purely going, and we're not going to know.
Sanford and Son, Fred Sanford clutching his chest, hand in the air, I'm coming home.
Coming home.
Can't take it anymore. Yeah. All I know is that the Epstein files still haven't been released, and that the Republican senators recently all voted down the motion to release those files. There's a cover-up of a biblical scale here. It is just nuts.
Meanwhile, the Secretary of Labor or whatever over in the UK, who has been tied to Epstein, has been fired.
Yeah, see, like the people in the UK know how to do it. They're doing it right. They're like, oh, you're in a position of leadership and you've written love letters to Epstein. Get the hell out of here.
Prince William, who was a prince, like I don't know what rights and things he has to the whole British royalty or whatever anymore.
I don't think he's been invited to a lot of ribbon cutting ceremonies.
There's there's no Christmas dinners.
No, they disavowed him.
But that's the thing, is that purely on the speculation and now physical evidence. I think one of the craziest parts about that birthday card is that the birthday card came from a book that was provided by the Epstein estate to Congress. No.
You're getting the story wrong. Right? No, it was in Hillary Clinton's possession.
Oh,
that she received from the Russians, paid, and then she went and actually faked Trump's signature on it, and she was the one that turned it in. You did not watching the right news stories.
So the news stories that I saw were
fake news. Fake news.
And FOX news. It was definitely Fox News, because the report on Fox News' website was that this was a book that was provided by the Epstein estate to Congress, that it had this letter in it. This is a book for Epstein's 50th birthday, and that it was, we had already had previous knowledge about this birthday card, and people can call it fake. People can say that it was completely made up. I don't. When it comes to denying what Donald Trump's signature looks like, I'm dumbfounded by this. Like he, for a man who has 12 letters in his name, he's got 40 humps in it, and it looks like, it looks like a medical situation is going on every time.
And then there's the rest of my name. Yeah, that's crazy.
But you can't deny that looks like his signature, and it doesn't look like it's not an official document, so it's not his entire signature. It's just his name, and he historically signs his name, and then has a really long line after Donald, and so like all of it matches up. And that
line went on for 5 pages. Did you see the original? Oh, it's nuts.
Oh,
I got a book for my 40th birthday. I didn't get no book for my 50th, but I got a book put together by family and friends for my 40th. I've got that in storage. I better go check that out and see what type of incriminating evidence is in there that somebody can get in trouble for and do away with it before it becomes public.
I don't understand how and why people are so quick to dismiss anything that makes Donald Trump not look like the playboy that he was for 40, 50 years. That part is just astounding. Like anything that he did prior to dipping his toes into television with Celebrity Apprentice and then on to politics. Like how do you deny that he was?
Well, I don't know what the purpose of that whole exposing the letter thing was. I mean, did it uncover him to be a liar? Yeah, of course. Shocker, right?
Yeah.
This is just
lies.
Evidence number 5 million. I mean, and it's not persuaded any of his faithful followers. So, what's the whole point? I want the list. That's what we need to be focusing on. The list. Who went to his island and partied it up, and where's the logs?
Yeah, the only thing...
It's 6 o'clock. I do need to run. I got an early meeting this morning.
All right. Well, we'll wrap it up. Thank you very much for everybody tuning in. Thank you, Bill, for being here on a Friday.
Did we get kicked off? We made it?
No, it's still running, but there's a lot of comments out there. Links to I have the wrong card. That's all right. Hey, listen, thanks for checking us out on a Friday, the All About Nothing podcast kind of daily show. This is Bill Kimler. He is host of Black, White, and Blue in the South. Also, by the way, phenomenal episode.
Hey, thanks.
I sent you a text message. I actually had goosebumps listening to what you and Dr. Jamil were doing with AI, and it has inspired me to do some things that we're going to do on upcoming episodes. So I think that we're going to invite Chatbot into an actual episode as a guest. So,
do it.
We're going to do that. Black, White, Blue in the South. You can find that across all of the podcast platforms. The All About Nothing podcast kind of daily show coming up Monday. Got an interview with DNC chair for North Carolina, Anderson Clayton.
Amazing.
So that is coming up on Monday release. You'll get to hear it tomorrow because you're a paid member. So
I am.
All right, everybody. Till then, you all stay safe, be kind, and keep your hands to yourself. The preceding podcast is a product of Big Media, LLC, and is copyright 2025, all rights reserved.